Hey, good morning, everybody. Like this new backdrop? Well, actually, it's warmer outside, and it was a little bit hotter last night, and the thermostat was set at the same temperature. So I think spring has sprung, and that's good. Um, my husband and I, we worked on the living room because he wanted to get it done, but he was a little bit sick, so I helped him out. So yeah, so the painting was a major venture. So it looks good. Didn't think I was gonna like it, but I did like it. So, anyways, I've been focusing a lot on the spirits of the ancestors and the Indian dances and the dreams, and well, not really so much the Indian dances, but looking at like what is the actual spirit in religion, and then Jilly Juice, and how does all this come together? And Jilly Juice really has you focus on your hormones because that's the biochemistry that is finally leveling out. Okay. And it seems that we have so many imbalances in our society, like so many imbalances, that some people are going to have more of a focus or more of, I don't want to say focus, but their hormones are going to do certain things for them and manifest in such a way where some people's religions get triggered into, wow, okay, this reconfirms my faith in either the Catholic Church or in the Christianity religion or in Buddhism or whatever it is that you subscribe to. Now, I'm surprised when I did get my dreams, when I was going through the biochemical change, the fluctuations in the beginning, that I didn't say, like, oh, wow, God spoke to me. But that was never, ever anything that I subscribed to, even when I wasn't doing the jelly juice. I mean, being raised Jewish never had really a major connection to it. But yes, it was something that I recognized because I was raised with it, but it wasn't like I felt it in my heart. Okay, I didn't have that type of a hormonal type of reaction when I went to temple as a child. Um, and even as an adult, I never felt like I had to go to temple to bring back whatever it is that I was raised with to come full circle. Because I guess that's what usually happens, right? When somebody is raised with a religion, they go away from it for many years, go on their own sabbatical, and then they come back to it when they have kids or when they feel like they're more settled and they want to now be like their family. They want to go to some kind of spiritual type of thing every week, and that never interested me. So the fact that I went through some kind of spiritual hormonal awakening during the process of my Jilly Juice, and I'm still not subscribing to anything in particular, it says that yes, I can now look at almost all the religions, every single one of them, and find some element that connects us all. Not the fact that we all die, because that's what Morgan Freeman is focusing on with all the religions connecting us all, is the fact that death is always the outcome. So now I'm taking the opposite of Morgan Freeman and saying, okay, right now, all the religions, all that they have in common right now is the end result is death. So what if we actually looked and saw the indefinite life and what would come of that? And so then I'm looking at the Indian, like the Indian rituals and dances and their dreams, and they go do specific drugs. Like when someone says that they were spoken to by a spirit or spoken to by Jesus or whatever it is, I'm thinking of the Travel Channel, and I'm thinking of Zach Bagan and his guys that go into these houses that are really haunted, and some very unsettled hormonal spirit, the residual energy left in that house that someone was playing with, spoke to a person. I'm not saying the person spoke to something like evil and malevolent, but there are different levels of hormones that are out there that are residual energy, and if somebody is somehow their biochemistry is at a certain point at a certain time of their life. Maybe they're going through some major grief. Maybe they're going through a major crossroads in their life. And now something in their universe, and it could be an ancestor of theirs, it could be somebody in their family, who knows? Or it could be some weird spirit that's around. I mean, I wouldn't put it past any types of spirits out there that when somebody's at their weakest, play with them. I mean, just looking at the Travel Channel and saying like, oh, do I believe in TV? But no, here's my experience with the malevolent spirits. So you guys know, I played with the Ouija board when I was like 17, 18. Okay, I played with the Ouija board. So I know that there are malevolent spirits. And I'm sure that probably contributed to the craziness in my 20s because of the fact that I had probably some negative energy attached to me for a long time until I was able to shake it off. So I don't doubt that there are energies out there that will attach to a person or try to help guide them, as well as their own hormones, okay, which is the spirit of themselves, try to guide them in a specific direction. And then somebody filters and interprets that specific experience into a religious awakening. No different than when you're going and taking ayahuasca or pot or any type of drug that will then make you see different things. I mean, I've done acid one time in my life, maybe twice, and I was in LA, and that's the place to do acid. If you're gonna do acid, do it in LA. But anyway, I'm not condoning this, but that's what I did when in my early year, in my 20s. And so I was in LA, I was a nanny, and I did acid on a weekend. And yeah, I saw some psychedelic colors. I mean, it was really, really pretty. And yeah, I could have chalked it up to say that this is like the spirit. I am tapping into the spirit realm. Well, really, what you're tapping into is the hormone realm. You're seeing your hormones, which is everything that makes up who you are, in such vivid colors. You're seeing your reality kind of turn into something that you see on TV when you're watching like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I mean, some of the cinematography is a great replication of how people see their universe, their reality through the lens of drugs. Okay? So because I felt like when someone says, oh yeah, what had me choose, Christianity or Catholicism or being a born again, and they're like, oh yeah, something spoke to me. And people will go their whole lives looking for that specific voice that caused this person to be so devout in their faith. And then the person that never gets that specific type of experience feels like that they're less than. I think, yeah, I speak for myself. When I have a lot of friends that were born again, or they're like, oh, I have friends that, super Catholic, and they're like, yeah, well, I'm like, I never had an experience to where I felt like God talked to me, some apparition or something talked to me. So I'm just like, well, what the hell? What's wrong with me that I didn't get that spiritual awakening that these other people have that made them so devout in their religion? And then I realized that I had my own spiritual awakening this last summer, but it's not because of any type of religion. No, I finally figured out through the lens of my belief system, which is the science, I realized that the spirit actually meant the hormones. So the Indian rituals out there that where they go and take these certain drugs, like, I forget that name, starts with a P, peyote, that's right, peyote. And then they go into, like, they go do where they sit out in the middle of somewhere in a circle, or they go somewhere and they dream. And so when you're taking drugs and you're having these crazy dreams, I could totally see somebody saying, yes, the spirit of our ancestors spoke to us and we must do this, this, and this. Or when they're doing rain dances. Okay, it's energy. Okay, so I'm looking at some of these Indian rituals for girls that and there's watching something on Morgan Freeman where they had to the girls had to run and create this energy and create this thing, and then it elicits some kind of, I don't know, it's a ritual. But rituals, when you're doing all the dancing, no different than fertility rituals that maybe induce parthenogenesis, that creates energy. And yeah, I guess maybe it could also create rain because everything is connected. So I don't doubt that there are specific dances that could create rain. Okay. And so, so now we know that everything is connected. We can now totally like narrow everything down to one specific word. So we can see that we're all connected, even through all the different rituals and the different words and the different stories around the hormones. We realize that we're all the same. We don't have to die. We can live indefinitely. And everything in this world has to do with the elements. Okay, so fire, water, wind, earth, spirit, or fire, water, metal, whatever it is, all these elements that are in our universe is either going to, it's going to, create what we have in this world, and it's going to influence your biochemistry. And how it influences your biochemistry is based upon if you're following the laws of your biochemistry to keep you alive indefinitely or to degrade you. And so, I've never been lucky enough to see a ghost. Okay. People that have, well, I'm just like, wow, something must be going on. Some turmoil must be going on to be able to then connect. Because here's the thing, anytime that you are in some specific energy space, you're going to attract those type of people. You're going to attract, and you may even attract them who are dead, because people who have died, some are very very calm, and you probably won't even notice who they are. And then some are very malevolent. Some, will try to scare you. I've had crazy dreams of where I felt I was being held down by some weird ghost. And someone could say that was like succubus or incubus or one of those. And yeah, I've had those type of dreams where I felt like I was falling. And then as soon as I, drop, I wake up type of thing. And I'm sure it was during a period of like a major hormonal upheaval through my development process and through who knows what was going on at that time. I had some pretty interesting stuff happen in my world. So I could see that if you are chaotic inside, your friends are going to reflect who you are, for one, and then the spirit world, what then speaks to you, is going to reflect the chaos or the calmness in your world. Okay? So the spirit world, the hormone world, the world of where people have died is going to be no different than the world of your living today. So really, if you just want to get your life well balanced to where you're not always fighting the elements and fighting the system and fighting everything, you got to get the biochemistry like super well balanced. And the Indians and the shamans, they all deal with antibiotic acquisition. They all deal with the antibodies, the different plants that take in antibodies, and they do believe in death. So the Indians, yes, they're great, but we can take it further than just the way the Indians did it. Because I know a lot of people like to go back to the Indians, say the Indians had it right and we have it wrong and they're better, and because we stole their land. And okay, yeah, there was some history going on that wasn't exactly right, but just like anybody, you make mistakes as you grow up. I mean, Donald Trump made mistakes in his earlier years, and make sure they're blasting his mistakes all over the A&E channel last night because they don't like him. But I don't think anybody has escaped the growing up process and making the mistakes. Just some of us haven't made those mistakes on Facebook. You guys see me through my biochemical change make mistakes. Okay? So mistakes happen. It doesn't mean that you are held to them 100% for the rest of your life. You grow up. And where I was going with that, I don't even remember where I was going with that. But anyways, so, you do the protocol, you'll go through your biochemical changes, you're going to stop fighting the system, and you just allow the peace. Because, yeah, I mean, this is where I'm seeing why everything is so chaotic, why there is political chaos out there. The reason why there's political chaos, because there's participators. Who participates in the politics? Everybody that is imbalanced. If we didn't participate, it wouldn't happen. If we only paid for the things that we agreed upon, that we like, and we stopped putting money in the things that we didn't like, we would defund the things we didn't believe in. And so you put your money where your mouth is. If we actually stopped giving energy to things that we didn't like, it wouldn't be spoken into existence. And that's what the biggest hurdle for most people is. They think that if they speak out against something, that it's going to stop it from happening. No, actually, it actually keeps it into existence. I'm looking at my life right now and it's very, very calm. I mean, I'm in a very quiet neighborhood. My mom asked me last night when I was, because she notices things. I mean, she's so damn right on. I said no because that was my first instinct, say no, because she gets in my head. But she asked me, like, is this quietness in this neighborhood, is it like discomforting? And I'm like, it's kind of weird. I'm so used to the energy of where I used to live. So it's a little bit different. It's like you have to create some flurry of activity here because there really isn't anything going on in the street, which is a good thing. I don't need to have activity outside my door. But it's where, you now, if you're in a quiet space, in a quiet neighborhood, in a quiet city, you now have to create the hormones to then take you in a specific direction, not reacting to your environment. Because if you're reacting to your environment, you're in some chaotic universe that you may need to stop surviving in. Okay, so if I was living with my in-laws, or if I was living in an area where it was full of crime, yeah, I would be in survival mode. I would be in reactive mode because I would always be in reaction to somebody else's messed up hormones or all of their drama or all of their bullshit. And that I wouldn't be able to then think about anything else but somebody else's story and all of their insecurities. So now that I'm finally at peace in an area where there isn't too much activity, there isn't traffic going by, I even let my husband take the truck. So I have no vehicle right now, and I'm okay with that. I wanted to see what it's like to have no vehicle, and any appointments I need to make for my dog or myself, I'll do next week. And I have enough food in the house. He'll be back on Friday or Saturday, and I'm okay with that. And I'm like, hey, this is where the rubber meets the road. You create, and sometimes, it's tough to just be with yourself. Right now, I only have Facebook Live. I don't do I'm not into a lot of social stuff. If I feel like it, I will, but I haven't really felt like it. So I've been really like hermetic right now, like a hermit. And it's just because I like the silence of being a hermit. I do. If I want to go in and go and mix in with other hormones and other people, I will, but I haven't really felt the need. And lately, I mean, just on Saturday, there's a huge storm. I'm supposed to go to like a baby shower, but the storm was majorly bad. I mean, it was like wind like crazy, and I have a high profile vehicle, so I didn't want to drive in these 50, 40, 60 mile an hour winds. So yeah, I stayed home, and I'm just like, something's wrong. Why don't I want to go and be social? Well, because, when you're around other people and other things and all that stuff, you are going to be reactive to somebody else's hormones, all of their stuff. And not everybody's doing the Jilly Juice, so that there's a lot going on. There's a lot of stuff going on. And right now, I mean, it's like I'm drawing a blank slate. I'm not in reactive mode. I'm in just Zen mode. And I don't even have to go and like meditate. I don't need to go off into the mountains and take ayahuasca and meet my maker. I see my maker every single time I dream. I don't dream all the time. I only dream when the universe needs to guide me or confirm or reconfirm what's going on. I don't have to force the universe to speak to me. The universe speaks to me in so many different ways. It's like the other day, this is so interesting. I was supposed to go on this interview with this guy, okay? And he has a mom that is is dying. I mean, she's in hospice, a lot of controversy around that. And he was, wanting to hear about my protocol. This a couple weeks ago. And maybe he was going to administer it to his mother. Okay. And so a week ago, I just wasn't ready. I just moved. I wasn't really in the mood to get on a radio show and talk. So he said, you can either do it tomorrow, which is really too soon, or Friday, or the next Tuesday. Well, Friday, my husband comes home, so I'm not going to do any kind of interview on a Friday. So let's do it on a Tuesday. So we made it for Tuesday. Well, come to find out, a lot of stuff happened that weekend around his mom. And then his mom passed away on Monday or Tuesday. And I'm like, now I'm not trying to be selfish, thinking about myself. I mean, that sucks. But when somebody is in hospice, okay, when somebody is in hospice and all the family members are dealing with their part in it as far as the care. I mean, the mother was in a nursing home, and there was all this stuff around the care on her on the last hours of her life, and someone maybe claimed negligence, someone, and it's just like, it was so political, and it sucks because death is never easy for anybody. Death is never easy, but it is a consequence for not understanding what keeps life going. And so had she had done the protocol a week ago, and this guy isn't totally understanding everything. I mean, he learned about me through friends. I don't know to what level he understands about the pain. And when somebody's in hospice and they do the J juice, they're going to be in massive amounts of pain because that is the body finally healing. But you got to deal with it. You can't get off of the protocol when you are in hospice taking J juice. So he never administered it to his mother. And in a lot of ways, if somebody understood the protocol, then I think it would be great that they administer to someone that's in hospice and the person who's in hospice understands. But if a person is still exploring this protocol and then trying to see if this is going to be some miracle thing that's going to wake them up and have them be like jumping around and having an amazing life, oh no, there's going to be pain involved. And let's say she got off the protocol. Let's say she did a protocol or did a sip of it, 2 sips of it, and maybe they're seeing some stuff, and then find out the person's in pain. She stops it, and then she passes away anyways. Oh my God. So if I would have gone on the interview like a week or so ago and they gave her the protocol, and then we find out that she's going to, and we don't know, it's a controlled conditions, right? Not controlled, I'm sorry. It's an uncontrolled situation. So a person could do like 1 or 2 sips of the protocol, be like, yucky, 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 and then go back to what they were doing before, or they go through some kind of healing symptom in the hospital or something. Okay. And this is where it gets really, really scary when people are trying to administer to somebody who is on their last legs in life. Like when you're in hospice, even the system can't do anything for you. There is nothing in the system for you because all they do is antibody acquisition. All they do, can you afford to take on another antibody? So with J juice, yes, anybody can do J juice, but can you handle the pain? Can you handle the healing? And not everybody understands that because they're still under the impression that healing is where you would disappear the pain right off the bat. It's like it's gone forever right off the bat. No, it takes a minute for the body to heal. You will have to deal with some pain. And if you are in hospice, all of your systems are really at so mutated that it's going to take a while for your body to finally have some homeostasis where you feel relatively normal considering the situation. And so the universe told me not to do, not to say that the universe didn't tell me, my choice of not doing that interview was probably the universe saying that maybe it's not a good idea to do this because yeah, he would have been asking me what I should do on the radio. Well, my mom is in the situation and maybe he wouldn't tell me exactly the condition. So I would think that maybe she's just sick, not actually in hospice. Okay. And so since I wasn't thinking about those type of questions, I wasn't even thinking of what he was going to do potentially. And then she does the protocol. I mean, it was like dodging a bullet because we already know what happened a couple years ago when Bruce Wilmot tried to do this protocol and he didn't stay on it. And then, I mean, he's in hospice and they all want to blame J juice. And I'm just like, I don't need another situation like that. I really don't. Not that I could really help it, because there are going to be people that are going to say, hey, I want to learn this, I want to do this, and they give it to their mother, their father, and they die anyways. Well, hey, I'm not in the room administering it, telling you what you should do. I'm going to tell you straight up, it's going to be painful. Ain't anybody in hospice is going to escape pain on J juice. No freaking way. You try to give them antibiotics or pain relievers while they're in hospice and doing J juice, you are rolling the dice. They got to deal with the pain. And people think, hey, it's pain and anguish, and this is where in a court of law where they're just like, hey, this situation when you're stabbing somebody, they went through pain and anguish. Yeah, when you're stabbing somebody, the body is trying to survive that situation until the stabbings are too much and it overwhelms the body and kills them. But that's how people look at pain, is something that is barbaric. And so if you don't really truly understand pain in the context of healing, as far as the J juice, there is no way you're going to give this to anybody that is that far gone in hospice. Now, stage 4 cancer, yes. Stage 5 cancer, yes. But when you get to hospice, can you afford to take on anything in the system? And then are you willing to invest the pain and the energy that's involved with the healing process with J juice if you're that far gone? So I'm trying to get you guys before you get to hospice, so you're never faced with that type of decision. Some of you are going to be faced with that, and that's fine. That's your choice. Some of you will be faced with that because that is your choice. You don't want to deal with the pain. You would rather play around with the protocol and ask me acidine questions than actually take it on. Well, I know who those are, and I get rid of them very quickly, okay? Now you will have to go get the book and read it and then ask your questions in the discussion forum, and then that's great. And then you will take your life on, but you're not going to mess with me on Facebook. And some of you will take this on, embrace it, understand it, because you're not that far gone. You're strong enough to deal with the pain and with the hormone fluctuations, and you can still run your daily life. But some of you have like 20 kids. Some of you have your life and you're so distracted by everything that goes on, your social occasions, all of your social events, your status in the community, everything, and this isn't going to work in your capacity, because it would mean that you would actually have to say, okay, I'm not going to be doing some of these events. I need to go home and heal. I need to cut down my social life. I need to cut down even some parts of my job. So that way you can fit in the healing process, because you have no idea what you're going to be facing. Not only you deal with past issues from way back when, from ever since you were born, because you came to this world mutated, you got to deal with current issues today. And then when you get a titer test, you know that you're going to have future triggers are going to be coming to surface. So you have no idea really what to expect. Now, the body is not going to kill you while it's healing, but you're definitely going to feel like, God damn, where did this come from? Where did this come from? What the heck? And I've had those where I've had rashes come to surface. I had things come to surface on my skin that I'm like, what the heck? But luckily I didn't have a lot of those antibodies like eczema or psoriasis. I had a few little things that looked like it was, but it wasn't like, if somebody's dealing with eczema or psoriasis right now and they're kind of keeping it at bay because their immune system is still pretty strong, which is not a good thing. When you have a very strong immune system, it means you have a lot of natural killer cells that are degrading you. Okay, so when an immune system is strong, they're keeping that eczema at bay. But as soon as your immune system starts degrading, and then finally the body says, okay, we're keeping those natural killer cells at bay. Now we're going to allow the body to finally filter out the eczema and psoriasis, and they start getting, and then they either that comes up to surface, and you're trying everything to kind of quench it down or keep it down. Yeah, then that's when the body is like, okay, it's time to now finally heal. And people will mistake those signs and think it's like they're sick or something. No, the body's finally trying to heal because those natural killer cells are not now causing those pathogens to come to surface. However, when you do J juice, you're going to be bringing that to surface. You're going to be getting those antibodies at bay. And this, I think, is what happens, is that when you have a very strong immune system, it does keep those symptoms at bay, like eczema, psoriasis. So it does keep only one area in your body with that little patch. But as soon as the body finally, says, okay, I want to survive, and those NK cells are kind of diminishing, and then it allows those pathogens to come to surface, this is when you need to now do J juice, because J juice is going to also dilute the NK cells, so they're not destroying you, and it's going to rebuild the body, but it's also going to bring to surface those pathogens that are trying to come out. And finally, you are allowing them to come out, which means that you're going to be dealing with some pretty severe eczema and psoriasis until you get through the next level. And some people can't handle that. I've had people that are on my Facebook that dealt with the eczema and psoriasis. They couldn't handle the healing because it was so bad that what they contracted was so bad, and they didn't want to stay the course. So what do? They went back into the system and took more antibiotics. And guess what? It's going to then, yes, keep it at bay for a minute until the body breaks down. And when the body breaks down, it's because there's too many natural killer cells being created to keep some of those symptoms at bay. And then the body destroys itself, and then those things come up again. And then there's nothing that will help them. There is no antibiotic that will help them. And now they either got to live or they got to suffer continuously until they die. Or, you're going to have a return on your investment. If you're going to suffer, make it work for you. You're going to suffer anyways, but every single time you take in an antibiotic and you strengthen your immune system, you are getting a stay of execution. But the end result is still going to be the same. You're still going to die. Okay? That's a revelation. That's pretty cool. So, yeah. So this is why it's so paramount that those of you that do have people that are on their deathbed, sometimes their people are too far gone. They're not going to be able to afford that kind of investment. And then you have family members who don't understand J-Juice. They read all the articles and thought I'm some psycho satanic person. And so anytime they have a healing symptom, they're going to think that the end of the world's going to happen. And so your family is going to freak the heck out. So if you're going to administer this to anybody, make sure the person that is going to be taking this on knows what to expect, for one, and you have a very strong support system to understand that these healing symptoms are not deadly. Hey, yeah, it's fine to have a doctor to make sure they're stabilized, but you ultimately know that you got to go through the fire, you got to go through the pain to get to the final healing. I mean, I got to download that video that I did last night about the prostaglandin, that hormone that aids in the healing that also causes pain. Okay, and the anti-inflammatories stop, and they actually stop that hormone from releasing. I mean, this is what hormonal imbalances are in cancer, disease, and chronic illnesses is hormonal imbalances. There are hormones that are being created to such an extent it causes obesity, and then their hormones are being withheld, which causes the healing process. And you wonder why humanity is all messed up, because people are taking poisons. Do you realize the cannabis is a poison? Do you realize that all of the pills, powder supplements, prescription drugs, everything out there are poisons? But we as a society are so adverse to pain that we don't care if we poison ourselves as long as we don't have to deal with the pain. Okay, well, there is an outcome. The devil does take his due. The devil does take, and I don't like to speak in religious inferences, but it really fits, because the devil is the hormonal imbalance. It's the mutations. The mutations are going to want their pound of flesh. Okay? There is a consequence to everything. There is. And when you're taking something that's antibiotic, anti-life, if you look at antibiotic as anti-life, it's going to cause mutations. Okay? We take a probiotic paired with the right elements and the right elements, then it's pro-life. And this is where things get confusing, like, oh yeah, I'm taking kombucha, it's for probiotic. I'm taking alcohol, it's a probiotic. I'm taking apple cider vinegar, it's a probiotic. There are wrong probiotics to take. If you're taking just a pill, powder, and supplement, or a shake that says it's a probiotic, no, it's no different than taking chemotherapy. Okay? Because just taking a strain, like if you're doing kefir water, or you're taking grains, and grains have sugar, okay? It's paired with sugar. So what you're doing is you're feeding and fighting the candida when you're just doing kefir water or yogurt or, apple cider vinegar, fermented fruit, and vinegar is fermented ethanol, so that's already antibiotic. Or you're taking some kind of other fermented fruit like kombucha or fermented tea. Tea is antibiotic. Ferment tea, it creates lactobacillus, but you're also having antibiotic quality in there, so what's the point? It's just negating any type of value you get from it. But it's a probiotic because it has lactobacillus. What the right probiotic pairing is the cabbage water and the pink Himalayan salt or the kale. Okay, because the salt is the energizing force and everybody needs. Pink Himalayan salt has trace minerals and the water is a carrier force, and then you get the nutrients. That is a spectrum of nutrients in the cabbage and kale, and then the diet does reflect and support the recipe. And it also tells you what is antibiotics, so you're not taking in antibiotics and undermining the progress. Okay, so yeah, there are consequences to your shortcuts. And yeah, people are reaping the consequences to their choices. Okay, so nobody can really blame anybody when somebody has made a choice in their life that they're going to deal with antibiotics, like that herbalist that killed one of their patients. You know, these herbalists that think that they are God. They're not God. They're Satan, if you want to put it in that context, because God, in the religious context with J juice, is well-balanced hormones. And then Satan, or the devil, is the mutations, the imbalances. So anyone that's an herbalist, anyone that deals with MLMs should never, ever be giving advice, because you're dealing with poison. That's only strictly for the FDA, for biotech. The Food and Drug Administration is there for a reason. I know people say, oh, it's the Federal Death Administration, but really, when you think about it, do you really want to be taking advice from somebody who has not properly done the test to see if you can take on new natural killer cells? Do you think it's wise that you go see some shaman down the street that deals with all of these crazy poisons like Chinese herbs? I used to do the Chinese herbs. Oh, and I had Chinese herbs that were in my cupboard for a long time, and they had bugs in them. But I was in San Francisco at the time trying to deal with my PMDD, and I would mix this concoction of I don't know what the heck it was. And I would drink it, and it was so nasty, so nasty. And I'm sure that probably messed me up. But then I'm like, okay, I'm not taking that anymore. So I left it in my cabinet forever. And then I opened it up, and all these bugs came out. I'm like, what the fuck? And so, yeah, so Chinese herbs. No, you don't want to be taking Chinese herbs. You don't want to be doing acupuncture. You don't want to be doing chiropractic care. You don't want to be doing anything that deals with poisons or messing with your hormones unless a doctor says that you can afford to mess with your hormones for a certain amount of time. Because at some point, if you're not going to do J juice and you go to the doctor, they're going to let you know, hey, we can't do anything else for you because you can't afford to take on another natural killer cells. It's going to tip the scales and kill you. That's why you are incurable. When someone says that your disease is incurable, it means that you cannot afford to take on any kind of a pain anesthetation or symptom type of management program that they have. When something is incurable, you can't take on a poison. Now you're left to die. Or you can look at J juice and say, hey, I want to live, but I got to deal with the pain. You only have two choices in life or death, dudes and dudettes. Okay? So yeah, the FDA is there for a reason. The CDC just tells you all the different diseases. And are they manufacturing them? Hey, maybe they allegedly, maybe not, who knows, but does it even matter? Because no matter what, you go out there in the world and you do Jilly Juice, you're going to be faced with so many different pathogens and bacteria because you're mixing with people who you can't legislate morals on, so you got to protect yourself. You got to protect your own universe. You got to protect your space. And when you protect your space, you're not going to allow in and let in people that are going to undermine you. And you're not going to allow pathogens to reside in you because you're going to purge them out. Okay? Which means that you drink J juice. So yeah, you'll be faced with different pathogens that your body doesn't recognize, and maybe you will have a reaction, maybe you won't. Maybe there are ways that you can take on pathogens where your body doesn't react. I'm assuming that probably happens because I haven't been sick at all since last March when I got back from Dr. Phil. Since last March was the last time I got sick. Okay? So about a year. And I know there's new pathogens, but I'm not like antibiotic. I'm not full of natural killer cells. I don't have a strong immune system. What I have is that I'm able to take on antibodies pathogens and antibodies and fix the mutations so they're not being created from the, no antibodies are being created from the mutations. So when you fix the mutations, guess what? It was like you've never been hit by an antibody, but you will always have the antibody. It just won't be very strong. But if you have strong antibodies, like, when you take a drug test, when they want to see if you've smoked pot in the last however many hours, well, they know you have the antibody because everybody pretty much has, if you've been exposed to pot in something in your life, they know you have the antibodies. So that's not what's going to cause and trigger you positive. What's going to cause and trigger you positive is the amount of antibodies, which tells the lab people how soon or how recent that you took on marijuana. Because marijuana creates antibodies. So if you have a high antibody count of marijuana, it means you recently just smoked and you're still in an altered state, which means that's against policies, against job policies. You can't be high or drunk when you're driving or doing whatever. Okay, so if you have weak antibodies, that's a good thing. It means that you repaired the damage from the initial onslaught, and the antibody will always be there. So in case you faced with that disease or faced with that pathogen, it's not going to hurt you. Okay? So you will always have the antibodies, just how strong they are is the difference. And if they're so strong all the time, that causes cancer, disease, and chronic illness. That causes the aging process. So when you're smoking pot all the time and you're always testing positive for marijuana, then yeah, that's chipping away at the mutations in your body. That's why marijuana is so dangerous. Everyone thinks, oh yeah, it's a great cancer cure. Well, so is chemotherapy. But then they're like, oh yeah, chemotherapy kills. Well, so does marijuana. Okay, you just don't realize it. Now people are like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna be high all the time and just, fight against cancer all the time. Fight against all the symptoms all the time. You need a weak immune system, but a strong body. You have a strong immune system, but a weak body ain't going to serve you as far as indefinite life. And that's what people have to understand. And believe me, I have to learn how to change my language too, because I'm so used to saying reinforcing the immune system, strengthen the immune system. And that's what everybody's saying, but that's the wrong way to look at indefinite life. When you have a very strong body, but a very weak immune system, you are perfect. You have a very strong immune system, but a very weak body, you only have so long to live. And so when someone in the context of the matrix, not doing Jeju, says they have a very strong immune system, they're on a death trajectory. The body will eventually give out because those natural killer cells are going to shut down a vital organ. It will only be a matter of time. And when you participate in antibody acquisition protocols, it is a matter of time. You just don't know when. And that sucks when you roll the dice because you don't know when it's going to happen. You may have certain types of events that will say, hey, red flag, something's going on, do something about it. And people will ignore their red flags and they'll keep taking their drugs or find something to say, oh, or to justify why this happened. Oh, this happened. It was because of this, this, and this, not because of this, this, and this. Okay, fine. But no, you're not invincible. If you're not doing Jejus, you're not invincible. And yeah, it is becoming a tipping point now with the 5G, chemtrails, marijuana being legalized, and everybody and their mother are giving advice on the internet that deals with MLMs and all the different, essential oils. And yeah, we are having major antibody acquisition now more than ever. And yeah, the earth is going to purge those that don't understand. And there's absolutely nothing that you can do about it if somebody doesn't want to understand this information. There is nothing. Don't try to convince someone that doesn't understand this information. Don't even bother to try. If they're still stuck on turmeric and garlic and honey and all of those different spices and detoxes, then you know what? Let them. Because they're too far gone. They wouldn't understand the information even if you tried to get, because they have no interest. They want to do the shortcuts. So I have been deleting people off my Facebook that I see that have been my friends, and they're still playing in with the pills, powders, and supplements and detoxes and the honeys and the turmerics and all of that. So yeah, if I don't follow them or whatever, if I see it on my newsfeed, yeah, then I'm going to just delete them because hey, if they want to know my information, they'll find out. You can't force your friends. You can't force even some of the people that you respect who need this information. You can't force them. You're welcome, Tiffany Lee Krim. Okay, so yeah, we finally, the universe needs to strike a balance. They don't want humanity to die. They don't want humanity to die. The universe does not. But you got to understand this information if you don't want to be a statistic. And so now finally, I mean, Dr. Phil and Newsweek and Pathos and Daily Mail and BuzzFeed, they all gave you the choice. Yeah, they try to paint me as some crazy satanic person, whatever, but that's fine. If they readily embraced me, then it would mean that all of their pills, powder, supplements, and everything in the market would be then all for naught. So they're not going to cut off their nose to spite their face, but they will give me energy. They will give me hormones to then have you make a choice if you so choose. Okay? And now you have the choice, life or death. It's up to you, chocolate or vanilla. That's what the Landmark said, you know, when I was doing Landmark education, they're like, chocolate or vanilla, you choose. Not because of a reason, because all of your reasons are based upon the past. Chocolate or vanilla, you choose. Life or death. Because really, it's not like, you know, life is anything better, right? You just continue to live. You just continue, but maybe your life can be better, but you don't know how to even quantify a better life. But do you really want to die? Okay? So death is already expected, so it's not like it's a bad thing. People expect to die. They're like, oh, well, you know, I have 50 years before I die, or not. But now we have this way of looking at to where not only can you indefinitely live, but now your life, your quality of life can be like 20 times better. Because the amount of, I don't say, you know, talents that you can acquire, the knowledge that you can acquire, the strategy, the time on this earth, because guess what? When people get promotions, it's because they've been in a company for so long, they understand it left, right, and forward. They know all the players, they know all the competition, they know all the different marketing campaigns, like the back of their hand, and they can create new ones. So imagine you're in a company where you're in there for like 100 years and you are just, you know, kicking the competition's ass 24/7 because you're been around and you're beating all of your peers. You're always creating great presentations and great ideas, and you're always on your mark with all of your spreadsheets and flow sheets and process flow diagrams and whatever else that you're doing. And so you may one day be the CEO of the company. Who's to say? Or you may create your own company and be amazing at it and know exactly how the world works and how humanity works. And you know how to trigger someone into telling you and divulging their secrets so that way you can have an upper hand. I mean, you know, I'm saying sky's the limit if you actually get your hormones well balanced. It's not like you're going to be nefarious, but you're going to have strategy on how to beat the competition so that way you can win. But you're not going to sacrifice anybody. You just, hey, this is the competition marketplace. The young and the productive and the energetic are what is worshipped in our society. These kids over on the Bravo channel with the $1 million listing, they're in their prime. Imagine if you can be like those guys indefinitely. But right now, these guys on the Bravo channel and the $1 million listing, they have an expiration date. It's not going to last long for them. They're enjoying it now, but they're on that same trajectory as everybody else out there playing the game, the formula. And then they're a rising star, but they will also fall. So what if you could be that rising star and keep rising and never fall? That's what this comes down to. So that's what you have available to you with this, is that once you understand the formula of life, then you won't have to worry about death. And also you'll have a quality life. It's not like you're going to be staying stagnant where you are. Because some of you are like wondering, how am I going to get out of my situation? How do I get above my specific place here? And well, first you got to get your health 100%. First, you got to get your health 100%, and then you can relax and then strategize your plan of execution on your next life, whatever it is. Okay? So, but you have to be calm. You have to get rid of the distractions. You have to stop being so damn busy and get it in the politics and the activism is a waste of fucking time. Do you realize all that time that you put forth to the activism and the politics, you could be actually developing yourself and developing your family? Oh no, people want to go and do the activism and be part of the politics. If we didn't have people participate in the activism and the politics, guess what? They wouldn't exist. It wouldn't happen. The reason why politics and debates and all this bullshit happens is because we have participants. When you stop participating, you stop the actual experience. But people don't understand that. They got to keep alive what they hate. Okay. Then keep alive what you love. But you put energy towards something that you don't like, you keep it alive. You put energy to something that you hate or that you like, you keep that alive. Where are you going to put your hormones? Who deserves the hormones that you're expending? Because that does age you. Every single time you put forth, like what I'm doing right now is I'm giving you guys, I'm sacrificing my hormones to you guys. You guys are worth it. And then I'll drink my J juice and regenerate from this energy that I'm expending by giving to you. Okay? But are you getting anything back from Donald Trump? Are you getting anything back from your focus on Hillary Clinton or what you think is going to be mass arrest? Are you getting anything back from giving your energy to the CDC? If anything, they're taking from you. So why would you give your hormones to something that's not giving you anything in return? That's what people have to realize. What you give your energy to is basically you're wasting your hormones on something that's not giving you or serving you anything that's of substance that's going to help you. Okay? That's what it comes down to. So give your energy to the worthwhile things in life, like you making yourself better, chilling the fuck out. If you're not in imminent danger, then don't worry about it. If you're not in imminent danger. If you are, then yeah, take care of yourself. But nobody on my Facebook right now is in imminent danger. They can afford to step back from the activism and drink the J juice and work on themselves and just focus on their immediate area, their family and themselves. And that's it. Everything else is just a waste of energy. It's a waste of hormones. Everything else is. And then you educate. Oh yeah, I'm doing J juice. And then people come out of the surface be like, oh, you suck, you this. And then you delete them because you know what? You don't want that kind of negative energy in your life. J juice is a great purging. You'll purge the people that don't understand you. You'll purge people that are still stuck in the activism. You'll purge people that don't get it. And that's a good thing because you don't want people undermining you. When I mention J juice, man, and people are like, well, I get rid of them. Or people are still stuck in the pills, powder, supplements, I get rid of them. Okay? So, J juice is a major accountability. It keeps you honest and it brings up the people that you don't really need in your life. Because if someone's going to expend the energy and talk smack to you because you mentioned J juice on your Facebook, they don't deserve your friendship. They don't. Because when you're going to talk smack about someone that you have no idea about, something you have no idea, then they don't deserve you. Because you're trying to educate them on something. And either if they don't agree with it, they can move on. I move on all the time. I don't get into arguments and talk smack about every single thing. Believe me, I go through my news feed. I don't go and try to look for arguments and debates. No. That's a waste of my energy because I'm not getting any return on that investment. No return. So I just know who it is. And if I see it enough and I don't like them, then I'll just delete them. But if somebody's going to spend the energy and actually disparage a specific person and talk smack about, and they know nothing about the situation, then yeah. Okay? So that will be your own vetting process. Talk about J juice and watch everybody out on your timeline leave. That's good. You don't need them. You need to be around people that are actually life-giving, not trying to suck the life out of you. Thanks, Roxy Jensen. All right. So I gotta go do stuff. What stuff? I don't know. It's just kind of weird. But yeah, get the book, you guys. If you haven't got the book, get the book already. jillyjuice.com. I know Kevin's working on it, and Kevin is a perfectionist, so I haven't given him any timeline to get me his draft. I know he wants to make this as perfect as possible. I gave him my 11 pages that I took from 80 pages and took it down to 11 or 12 pages. And he may, work from that and then also expound upon that. So just know that the next book is going to be in so much more detail. Like, you're going to be blown away by the next book. But you need to have my current book as the primer to do the protocol. And if you have any questions about the protocol, just send us a receipt. We'll give you a login and password. And then you can ask the questions in the discussion forum. And it's anonymous. And so that way we're not, taxing my Facebook wall with questions. Okay? And I don't like fear. I don't like anybody saying, oh, what happens if this? What happens if that? Da, da, da. There is no fear in my Facebook. No matter what goes on in this world, you have ultimate control. Even with the different chaotic geoengineering and climate change. We're seeing tornadoes happen in California. We're seeing ice and snow happen in San Diego. We know they're playing with the weather. There's nothing you can do about it. There is nothing you can do about it. So get your insides 100% perfect. We know human trafficking happens. We know shit happens out there in the world, but there really is nothing you can do about it. You can raise awareness all you want, but when you give energy to it, it keeps it in place. What we need to do is educate the people that you can so they don't end up as a human trafficking person. They don't end up as a victim of human trafficking. If you get your immediate people in your world educated with J-Juice to where they are understanding boundaries and they are well balanced and they're reversing all the cancer disease and chronic illness, they won't put themselves in a position to where they would be then a victim. Okay? If you see something in your world, like you're walking down the street and you see a girl being hit by some dude, call the police. Let them do an investigation. But don't be like a savior and try to go and save that kid right then and there. Protect yourself. Do it smart. If you see something in your neighborhood that doesn't look kosher, yeah, okay, call the police. Okay, if you see something in a parking lot, get the license plate number. Okay, but hey, that's the extent of your power. That's it. So the more you give energy to things that you can't control on the internet, that's where your energy is going. It's not going to you or your family or your health. It's going to something that gives you zero return on your investment. Understand, the hormones you put out must be something that's going to help you, not hurt you in the long run and hurt the universe. At some point, people have to take personal responsibility for themselves. You can't save everybody at some point. So, people do what they do. I understand it and I get it. And it's hard to transition out of the activism. But I want you to just drink the J-Juice. Drink it to such an extent to where you see a major change, a major shift. And you start seeing the possibility in things that you never saw possible. Okay? And I'm building a base. That's what I'm doing. I'm building a base. And then eventually that base is going to get bigger, but it takes time. I had to get through the fire, and that was a couple years ago. And all of you that were part of me, my moderators and everything, they went through the fire too. And now, they have major potential to do whatever they want to do. And so, once I get the second book out, then, things are going to be a little bit different because it's a different book. And I know it's going to sell a lot because Kevin is amazing at his writing and the stuff that he comes up with and how he says it. It's going to be amazing. So just, sit tight, do the J-Juice. We're going to get the second book out so you really can give the details, the major details to your friends and family, and then see life in a very different perspective. Okay. So anyways, all right, I'm going to do my thing, but thanks for listening. I appreciate all of you. Hey, Lori LaRock. Lori's been around, just so I got to give you kudos to Lori LaRock. She's been around ever since the beginning. And she was the first testimony with when she was going through her weight, the weight fluctuations and stuff. Yeah, she she was the first one to really give me a testimony that I was able to just glom onto, and has been a support. And we've been through our ups and downs, and she's amazing. She actually financed my first book. She did. And so I am endlessly grateful, and eventually I will pay her back until I get like, more of an income, but she will definitely get paid back on that. So I have people that have invested in me that I will definitely pay back, but right now it's like difficult because I'm just trying to get my bills paid and make sure that my moderator gets paid and my web hosting service get paid and certain things get paid. But, I appreciate the people that have supported me, and we're all going through a process. And so I just want to see so much for all of you guys. I mean, I want to see just every possibility, every dream that you ever had just get happen. I want you to realize all of your dreams and goals. Okay. So yeah, Lori, I can't wait for the second book. Believe me, I can't wait either. I mean, this is like long time coming. Okay. And Heather is amazing. Heather Skinner and Roxy and Kim, all of you guys, Alicia, all of you guys have contributed in some way. And I really, am so grateful for your energy, your hormones, and your support and your stick-to-itiveness, because I couldn't do this without you. So I appreciate all of you. I really do. And even people that I've let go the last couple of years, they had their place in this, and then it's just like with life, sometimes some friends you have to let go. They're good for a certain amount of time until you outgrow them. And it's okay to outgrow your friends. Either your friends grow with you or you grow apart. And you can't keep people that are holding you down. Oh yeah, Lori, instant result, 1 ounce of chili juice. Yes, Lori, yeah. And Lori's a nurse too, so she gave me a lot of insight with her being a nurse. And that's what's amazing, is that I had that in my pocket. And she was a moderator in my group. And then, and now I only need one moderator in my website. But yeah, Lori was there for the transition. And so is Kevin for the transition. Lillian, that's why, Lillian, absolutely. Lillian's been there ever since the beginning too. And so, I just, I'm very grateful for the people that I have around me. And Bridget went on Dr. Phil with me. And so, she went through the fire. And there's people that haven't stayed with me, and that's okay. That's okay. Life happens, and we can always reconnect even in the future. So it's not like anything is set in stone, but we really got to know that we're on the same page. And that goes for all of you guys. When you have friends that are holding you down, you got to question and see, is it worth it? It's okay to make new friends. It's okay to be alone too. It's okay to be alone. It's okay to make new friends. It's okay to just be whatever you feel like you need to be, as long as it's not hurting anybody else. Okay? So let your biochemistry dictate as you're going through this process with the juice. Let your biochemistry dictate. Pay attention to your dreams. Allow yourself to dream. And the future, man, it's the future's so bright. I'm getting good grades. I gotta wear shades. Ha ha ha. That's so funny. That's stupid. Okay. I gotta go. So I know, Laura, you want the protocol being, well, now you're reborn. All right, I'm gonna go do my thing, but you guys just hang in there. If I see anything interesting, thanks, Roxy. Yes, we are. We're all growing, learning, and we are changing. If I see anything on Netflix or anything else that I'm like, okay, I got to impart, I'll get on Facebook Live and tell you. So, but just do the protocol. Drink up. I'm gonna drink a bunch of my protocol today, get some waterfalls and all of that, and just enjoy my very calm life. Okay, it's very calm right now. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot. Go to jillyjuice.com, JILLYJUICE.com. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.